Now, you know you're winning when Saturday Night Live tries to mock you but just ends up making you look cooler. Here is SNL recreating Pam Bondi testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
You say that the troops are there to protect ICE facilities, but why is ICE there in the first place?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem.
Well, she isn't here.
What if she is, though? Hold my gun. That's right, it's me, Kristi Noem. I spell my name with an I because that's how I thought it was spelled. And I'm the rarest type of person in Washington, D.C., a brunette that Donald Trump listens to.
Got to say, Tina Fey's Kristi Noem isn't bad, though the writing could do with some work.
Our government agents are working without pay. Luckily, my boys at ICE don't mind. They're in it for the love of the game. And how did I find them? By running ads like this. Do you need a job now?
Yeah.
Are you a big tough guy?
Yeah.
Tough enough for the army or police?
No.
But do you take supplements that you bought at a gas station?
Daily.
Yep, the look is on point, but the writing is a bit lame. Let's look at a clip an ex-user put together to improve that skit.
They're in it for the love of the game. And how did I find them? By running ads like this.
Lord have mercy.
If a police want a problem, I can help her solve it. If what's on my headache, but for my target. Extra retarded, should have been about it. Think out like I'm Calvin, cause I piss on them regardless. 2 perks I just started, 4 perks feeling gorgeous.
Joining me now is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, the culture is changing. Saturday Night Live might even become funny again.
Well, I mean, Rita, look what they had to do. They had to go back to Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. And you know, even though they are liberal, those two are very talented, especially Tina Fey. I used to love her show 30 Rock. And I thought the impression was funny. And to be honest, you know, the gun stuff looks really cool. If they really wanted to make fun of Pam Bondi, they just should have talked about the Epstein files, because we have not forgot about that, Pam Bondi. We want more transparency when it comes to those Epstein files.
Well, this is what I love about you, Alex. You may be conservative, but you absolutely hold conservatives to account if they don't live up to your expectations. And you've done that with Pam Bondi all along. Do you still think that there is more information about the Epstein files that we should have access to that they haven't released? Or is it just going to compromise, I don't know, the intelligence agencies, or for whatever reason they're not being more forthcoming?
Well, 100%. I think it implicates people that are classified. There's levels of information that us normal American citizens will never be privy to. And even if the president was to release this information, you know, they could be held accountable for it. So, you know, it's just kind of like simple math. If they won't release it, it's because whoever's involved is such, you know, high level that they cannot be revealed. And I guess it doesn't really necessarily all fall on Pam Bondi, but when the Trump administration campaigned on the Epstein release, we want the Epstein files. And I think that the mistake that Pam Bondi made was doing the public, you know, binder, you know, debacle. That was a terrible, terrible plan, and that couldn't have gone any worse. So I think Pam Bondi handled herself great when she was getting lectured, you know, by all those politicians. But when it comes to Epstein, she's still, you know, not handling it sufficiently.
Now, you're out there trying to help folk. Your methods, your style may be less gentle than some others, but the intention is just as pure. Let's have a look.
Transgender mom is confusing her daughter.
You wouldn't tell an anorexic person to continue to not eat, would you? If an anorexic woman, when you're a nurse, would you tell them, a person that had a mental illness, would you tell them to continue not to eat? Or would you tell a bulimic person to continue to throw up?
No.
Okay, so why would you tell a person with gender dysphoria they were born in the wrong body? It's a mental health issue. You don't solve it by cutting off your breast.
Alex, what would you say to someone who'd say that is not helpful, that you are being too judgmental, you are being too harsh in how you're trying to convince that mother in that instance that the road she's set her child on is not the right one?
You know, they would not be wrong. I would say that my methodology is not always the softest or the nicest. And, you know, at the same exact time, I played sports, and you kind of need a football coach to kind of tell you the, you know, the tough truth sometimes, why you're not starting or when you played bad in a game. And so when I'm talking to that mother, I actually am empathetic to the mother and, you know, their child. But at the same time, people are afraid to have these conversations, and that was a hard conversation. And so I really wasn't trying to come off as, you know, arrogant, but at the same exact time, it was just a tough conversation that probably had not had a lot of, I'm guessing, because there's probably not a lot of pushback because of the society that we're currently living in. So at the same exact time, it was a hard conversation, but a necessary one.
Now, Alex, Hillary Clinton has marked her 50th wedding anniversary by releasing a series of throwback pictures. Some are calling these thirst traps, and it was noted very quickly with these images of a young Hillary that she did bear a striking resemblance to actress and American Eagle model Sydney Sweeney. And I tell you, Alex, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I will never look at Sydney Sweeney the same way again.
You know, and to be honest, they do have a lot of similarities. But I think who got the short end of the stick was Chelsea Clinton out of all this. I mean, no offense to Chelsea, but ever since that her parents were, you know, her dad was president, everybody always used to tease Chelsea, probably a lot of that unfairly. But you look at Hillary right there, she's looking pretty good. So I feel bad for Chelsea. I think she got a lot of Bill's looks, unfortunately.
I did not think you were going to go there. But do you now have a bit of a crush on Hillary? Because you got to say she was a very attractive young woman indeed. Beautiful on the outside, possibly ugly on the inside. Now, Alex, you are part of the Joyful Warriors. Of course, Charlie Kirk was the Joyful Warrior, the OG. You are part of a group of influencers who are going to be on tour. I've seen the posters for this, and I can see at least one far-left TDS sufferer on that list, Angela there. What do you hope to achieve with this tour? Are you going to be having these difficult conversations between left and right? What's the goal here?
Well, I'm so lucky. You know, this is specifically a Moms for Liberty event that is being sponsored by Turning Point. And so we are going to have people that have different viewpoints and kind of just talk about how Moms for Liberty, technically it's a nonprofit, so it's not necessarily supposed to have a political viewpoint, but it is, you know, kind of right-leaning. But there's moms that are all about, you know, freedom of speech and that want to go speak up at, you know, school board meetings that, you know, might be afraid or might be nervous. So that's kind of where I come in and I fit in, probably trying to encourage the mothers to go speak and be more vocal at their city meetings and their school board meetings. But Angela is kind of coming there and giving the perspective of kind of pretending to be a lib. And she is liberal, but I'm just saying, but being outspoken, being a bold lib. So just kind of seeing all of our perspectives. And obviously there's, you know, Caitlin Bennett, who is, you know, very big on YouTube, and she's very unapologetically herself. So different people with different styles and kind of how we get our message across and hopefully encourage other moms to be more vocal and passionate about the things they care about the most.
Alex Stein, thank you for your time.